Welcome. First things first. We select the cube and delete it. So now I'm going to go to the front view and draw a sphere, which would be the base of the Pokeball. And this base would be around 100 centimeters. Okay. So now I need to cut the upper part of the Pokeball. For this, I'm going to make a line. This line, I would maybe make it not so far from the origin. So as you see, the distance would be a bit close. So I cut the sphere, select this piece, and delete it. So now you see that I am going to have this half sphere, but the face below it I don't need. So I'm going to delete it, Shift X, and I'm going to thicken it instead. So F, thicken. We make something like this, not so much. Great, perfect. Now, the next thing to do would be to cut the circle that is in the middle of the Pokeball. So for this, I'm going to draw from the origin a circle, let's say somewhere like this. But I'm not going to cut it. What I'm going to do instead is I select these faces and grow a cylinder from it. I select this object and this object, press Q to Boolean, and now we have the open. Now this face is having, because of the offset, is having a bit of a line or offset. So what I want to do is probably I just going to scale it. So I press S from the set 0, and now it's flat. So how does it look? I want to mirror this piece to the bottom. So it's looking good. Maybe this piece I can grow a bit up and cut it because I think it is too close. So let's repeat, mirror. Okay, I like much more this distance, I think. Now, what else can we do? We can make the button of the Pokeball, for example. This circle that we have here, I can scale it, and somewhere in between, let's say for example here, and we do the same process. We grab the face, in this case these two faces, grow it. So if I just cut the bottom of the Pokeball, it's going to look flat and it's not going to follow the curvature of the sphere. And I would like to preserve this little detail. So how can we do this? What we can do is we can draw a sphere, and this sphere we need to draw it from the origin at around this line. So it's going to be exactly the sphere size, but remember to press B because we want a new body, otherwise it's going to make a Boolean in one of the objects. Okay, so this sphere, I'm going to grab it and select the cylinder and press Q, but I just don't want to make a Boolean. So I press Shift Q, and now we have these two pieces. This piece I can delete, and the sphere I can also delete. And now you see that the curvature is following this sphere. So it looks much more, in my opinion, it looks much better. Now we don't need this circle. And this face I can also put it more in front, somewhere here. Great. So now our Pokeball is getting a bit of shape. The next step to do would be to draw the belt of the shell of Blastoise. Blastoise have in the sides, he has this white shell or white belt somehow. You will understand it when you see it. So I select these edges and these edges, and I'm going to make a offset. So I press O to make the offset, and yeah, I think I like it. Okay. This distance is okay. What I can do is I'm going to mirror this object again because I am going to need the belt again down. Okay, what can we do now? I think it's time to move to the pattern that is drawn on the top of Blastoise, on the shell of Blastoise. So this pattern is some sort of hexagonal shape. So we come here to the regular polygon. We draw the polygon, but you look, it's a pentagon. So if you press Shift and drag the wheel, you can draw more edges or angles. So we just keep it in a hexagon, a bit relatively big like this. So now we just need to duplicate and move. So Shift D to duplicate, F to freeform and move it here. Now we select these two curves, Shift D, F, and let's move it and snap it there. And we just select these three, Shift D, F. Okay, now we have these 7 pieces. What we need to do is press G and snap it to the center of the Pokeball. In this case, I'm going to imprint it with Shift I. And now you see that the shape of the shell is a bit too tall. This distance, in my opinion, looks way taller than I would like to have. So I'm going to cancel it. And I'm going to scale these hexagons. Something like this. I'm imprinting it again. Now, could be that it's still a bit too tall. So I'm going to scale them again. Okay, maybe like this. I would leave it like this distance from here to here. I think it's enough. So now I'm going to group these curves and hide them. Okay, I think it looks good. So there is some things we need to do. We need to offset these faces of the shell, but with this one and this one, we need to trick and maybe fool a bit plasticity, because I want to form a shape where Blastoise have its 2 canyons. So what can we do to do this thing? First, I guess I'm going to offset this face. So this face I'm going to maybe around 1 centimeter. This face I'm going to skip, and I continue with this one. So offset, the same, around 1 centimeter. We have made the offset here, and now we need to make it here too. Offset around 1 centimeter. Okay. So now we have all these offsets. And what I want to do now is everything has the distance. And what I want to do now is I'm going to cut the piece. Okay, perfect. What else? I think now it's time to draw the canyon, or the piece of the shell that is going to come the canyon from. So let's grab this face, and you will see that if I offset it, it's going to just grow crazy like this. This is something I don't want, because I don't have so much control of this offset. If I make an extrusion, I also don't have so much control, because I want that it's growing a bit flat from down. This upper part is okay. This is something that I look for, this angle here, but this angle down, not really. So maybe we can just grab this face and bring it down. But you see that I'm going to destroy the piece, the belt. So let's do something. So I'm going to extrude it, and I want to make a new body. So I'm going to press B for new body. And this face, we can bring it down. We can maybe cut it. So for example, I draw a line from here and cut the piece. So it's looking better. But this face is not, I want that this face is not following the curvature of the sphere, but I want that it's going much more straightforward. So this edge above should come much out. And for this, what I can do is draw a line and draw it in the middle of the hexagon, this line, and just continue the direction. So we have this angle where I am looking for. And in this case, I want to make the line a bit down. Somewhere there. Now, I'm going to grab the face. I want to press R to rotate it, V to make the pivot and snap it to this curve. We can rotate it like this. So I'm looking for something more straight, as you can see. And I think there is perfect. Okay. Now, what else can we do is select these faces. And we are going to offset them because we want to have the belt or the edge of the Blastoise shell. And we just offset it, for example, 4 centimeters. I think 4 centimeters looks quite okay. This face, I want to bring it more inside. There, for example, maybe a bit more. Okay. Now let's try to offset this. And I want to look for a similar thickness as this belt of the Pokeball. So I think in this case looks good. Let's, for example, mirror these objects. So I'm pressing Q and Q. So now they're joined. And this face, I'm going to offset it around the same distance as the belt. So 4 centimeters. We convert this to the edge and just make a hard chamfer. For example, there. Now we select this face, do the same thing for 4 centimeters. Except grab this selection and make it so. We do the same here, 4 centimeters, and make a hard chamfer like this. Okay, now the opposite one, 4 centimeters. Okay, now I think it's looking perfect. What we need to do is go to the front side and we are going to cut this object and now we can mirror it. Join it again. So you see it's looking much better. This face from here we can move it inside somewhere like this. We can just mirror the object. Now, I'm not so sure if I should leave this face and this face. Probably I'm just going to remove them. And this face is a bit outside, so I'm going to be careful. Or maybe I just grab this face and make something like this. This one as well. Okay. So now I can join these pieces and push it a bit in the back. Great. So now we have the opposite part of the Pokeball. What we need to do is grab this face and offset it as well, 4 centimeters. Or before that, what I want to do is the circle where Blastoise has his arms. So this would be the stomach of Blastoise, and this is the back side of the shell of Blastoise. So here it needs the arms. So let's draw a circle. I don't want to snap it on the face. So I'm going to draw a circle around here. And I'm going to move it and snap it to this curve. I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees. Why 60? Because we did hexagons, and this face, this normal, has an angle of 60 degrees. Now I'm moving down. and I'm going to imprint it here. Now in my case I think it's a bit too small, so I'm just grabbing these edges and I'm going to offset it, for example like this, and I'm going to give it a bit more space. Offset, so as well to have the same thickness somehow. I'm going to select these faces, these edges, I'm sorry, and remove them with X. I'm going to delete these curves, select these faces, and offset it around 4 centimeters. Okay. I'm going to cut the Pokeball in half. Okay. So as well, this face and this face. This is going to be the arm or the leg of Blastoise, so I'm going to leave it like this. So I'm going to only offset these faces from here, from the side. So as well, 4 centimeters. It's looking good. And now what I want to do is, from this object, I want to delete the redundant topology. Much better, cleaner. Okay. So we can mirror it, and now it's taking a bit of shape. Now I'm quite happy with the result. Okay, what else can we do? I want to draw the lines of the stomach of Blastoise. In this case, Blastoise has some lines on the front side of the shell. So for this, I'm going to grab another line. I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to radial array it. So we look for radial array from the origin. So you count 1, 2, 3 lines. I think this is too little, so I'm going to shift and drag the wheel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 is a good number for the lines in the stomach. So I'm going to accept, and I'm going to cut this piece. So I have all the sections of this. You see that I start to have more the shape that I'm looking for. And because they are separate pieces, I'm going to round it like this. And remember, in my previous tutorial, I told you that if you have a rounder chamfer and you want to have the same distance as the one you did before, you can just select this face and it automatically will snap to the same distance. So in this case, I draw this round chamfer, press here, and it's the same. We do this for the rest of the lines. Okay, now we have it. I think now it's looking quite good. And what I want to do next is I want to join these pieces so that later I don't have any troubles. So I think it's looking quite good. I'm going to delete these lines. I don't need them anymore. I'm just going to leave this line. This line is important to keep because from here I'm going to snap the canyon of Blastoise. So delete the rest of the curves. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is, there are two missing pieces, the canyon and the button of the Pokeball. So we can just start with the button. So I select this face, press O to offset it, and let's offset it around here. Again, another offset, somewhere like this. This face I would like to push it just to have more dimension, maybe not so much, something like this. And this would be the button. And the button I want, I don't know if I should offset it again. You can draw your own pieces. You can have the details that you want. But in my case, for example, let's for example push it out a bit so that you really feel the button where you would press to release the Pokemon inside. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw this sphere on the face in the center. But I don't want to make it like this. I want to make a new body. And this sphere, I'm going to scale it. Move it a bit back maybe. And I'm going to boolean it. So I press Q. And it's much better. This I'm going to make it softer. And this one as well. So you see, there is like this hole where the finger would press the Pokeball. And we just chamfer these other lines. Okay, perfect. I think that is done. Now let's draw the canyon and we are done with the Pokeball. So I'm going to draw a line somewhere here. I'm going just to draw, just invent something. For example, something like this. Comes and there. Maybe these are too big. I'm trying to make it a bit smallish. Okay. Now these lines I want to revolve. So I select this curve and go down. Great. Now I select this line. I'm going to offset it. For example, there. And offset the face. Okay. Select the object. GG. Snap it to this line. And I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees, exactly like the face we had here. So 60 degrees. Okay. Now we just move the canyon with V somewhere there. Now we move it a bit up and we are going to rotate. So rotate V to the line and GZ. So here I just need to make it a bit, how can I say it, centered? Somewhere like this. Now I think I like it. So let's see how it looks. I mirror it. And I think we finish our Pokeball. We just need to make the inside sphere. So let's draw a sphere in the center and origin. Now I'm going to make it a bit bigger than this inside area, but I'm going to press B because otherwise it's going to make a boolean. So I'm going to press B for new body, right click to accept, and we can scale the sphere just a bit. I think there is enough. Now what I could do is add a bit more of details to the Pokeball. For example, I'm going to press Shift A, cut the sphere in the middle. Going to delete these lines. I think I don't need them anymore. These ones as well. And I'm going to grab this line and make a round chamfer. Grab the other and grab the chamfer. So somehow when you toss the Pokeball, it's going to open from here. Okay, great. And let's add, for example, some other details. Like, for example, we can draw some cylinders. Small cylinders like this. Not so big. And we can make, I don't know, something like this. Another. Then we can grab. I'm just inventing here. You can do other kind of shapes. Yeah, I think I like it. I'm going to duplicate them and rotate them. So I go rotate them flat 90 degrees, and I'm going to rotate them at around the same direction and put them down. Maybe more rotated. Okay. So for example, these, I'm going to make a boolean out of them. So I select the sphere and select this piece. So it looks much better. You can add much more details, much more things to your Pokeball. This is just an example, so that in the end has much more personality. Or it's looking much more interesting, realistic. Cutting this sphere. So I'm going to cut and mirror it and boolean it. Okay, great. The only thing to do would be to add some little details. For example, these edges are a bit too hard, so we just need to chamfer them. So we can select this, select all these edges, and we make a little bit of a chamfer. Perfect. We do the same for this one. And we need to do the same for these faces above. So we come and select these faces, convert it to edge, and make a chamfer. Okay. Select this one here. Now in this case, I don't want this one. So I'm going to deselect it and make the chamfer. There. I'm selecting this face, convert to edge, round chamfer, this, and finally I think okay, now we have everything. I just need this one. And we select this one as well. Okay, I think I like it. So now we have our Pokeball. The Blastoise Pokeball looks extremely good. I like it a lot. I'm very happy with the results. What I want to do now is bring it to Blender, add the materials and the lighting, and see the product finalized or in a final detail. Here in Blender, what we need to do is we grab the cube, delete it, and I'm going to make the connection to Plasticity. In this case, it's also already done. Just make sure that you have it and click on refresh. And the Pokeball should come without any trouble. So as you see, it looks quite good. It looks extremely, I'm quite happy with the result. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring it a bit above. I'm going to add, for example, just a basic lining. I'm going to add a curve with a point. I'm going to extrude it in the Y. And this curve, I'm going to convert it to 3D so that I can extrude it up, extrude it inset. At this point, I'm going to move it a bit more in front. And I just need to accommodate this softbox. So I want to make a fillet for this piece of the curve. So I'm going to right click, fillet, and I'm going to make it bigger. Something like this. Great, so now we have this piece. What I want to do now is go to the to object, convert to mesh. And now that it is a mesh, I can go to edit mode, select everything and extrude it in the X. Okay. This I move and center it and shade smooth. So as you see, we have our Pokeball already on the center. So let's add some lights. So I'm going to convert my render engine to cycles, GPU, and see how it looks. I'm going to delete this light and I'm going to create my own lightning setup. So I'm pressing Shift A, a new light area. I'm going to move it on the top. And the light properties, it's a bit too low. So I'm going to, for example, make 300. It's maybe a bit too bright. Let's say 200. Okay. I'm going to select this, only the Pokeball, and move it a bit above. And I think I like it a bit. So I'm going to duplicate the light, rotate it, and maybe duplicate the light again, rotate it and put it on the side. It's just a basic lighting setup. You can do your own at home. I think it would look much better. What I can do now is add the material. So I'm going to craft the material, a new, and I'm going to make this one brown shell. Brown shell. So the color, I'm going to make it a bit so, like the Blastoise. So in this case, you see that the object is, the belt should be white. When you see the Blastoise character, the Pokemon, you would see that it has some white belt in this area. So I'm going to change the material. So I'm going to add a new material. This will be the white belt. And I'm going to select in edit mode all these faces. I'm pressing L to add these faces. For example, like this. And I'm going to assign this material. I would like that it is just a slightly bit yellowish. Not entirely white. So now it's looking better. I think I like it. I'm going to do the same for this object down. So I'm going to add a new material. This one's going to be stomach. So I put stomach and make it just like a creamy color like this. What we need to do is again select the white belt to these faces. Now, normally this should separate in plasticity, but for the time of the tutorial, I just want to do it quick. Perfect. Like this. I like it. So I assigned this material with the faces selected. I'm going to assign it. So now you see it's looking better. This piece here should be blue. This is the flesh of Blastoise, the arm or the leg. So for this we need to add a new material, which is going to be blue Blastoise. And we add it bluish, like this. Assign. Maybe a bit more darkish. As you see, it's getting shape. What else? This black inside part. So we're going to make a new material. It's going to be black. And we just lower the color. We add the same for this one, black. And this one I'm going to make like chrome metallic. So chrome. And the metallic, I'm going to raise it almost fully, and the roughness I'm going to reduce. We do the same for this. I'm going to link the materials. So now the canyons have the same material, and the button. So the button looks a bit flat. So what I want to do is experiment. Maybe I will add some lights. I would, for example, add in these faces, the faces that are inside. Going to make a new material, and this is going to be, I don't know, light. I'm going to go to the shading, and I want that this button has some color light, so I'm going to add emission. This emission color would be here, and let's put it a bit bluish with the strongness. So I need to select and assign it. So the strength could be a bit more, maybe the color a bit more blue. So this is basically to pinpoint that the Pokeball is alive, that it has something inside, no? That the blue color would be when the Pokemon is healthy, maybe when it's red, the Pokemon needs to go to the to be healed, I don't know. After a combat, he may be fainted. Now you have it in perfect health, no? So what else can we do? I think actually we have everything ready. All the materials are selected. In this case, we need to apply in this one. So I think everything looks good. Maybe the black needs to be a bit more metallic and a bit less rough. Okay. I think it looks quite perfect. Maybe this stomach color a bit like this, maybe a bit darkish. And there you have it. I think we finally finish our Pokeball. Let's make a new camera. So we select the camera, and we make the camera to the view, and we center it. Okay, I like it a lot. Let's make a render and see how it looks. The Pokeball is still rendering, but I am liking a lot how the material is looking, how the Pokeball, all these tiny effects that we added, these little holes are giving a much more personality, a stronger personality. I think I would leave it like this. I'm happy with the results. I hope you like this tutorial. If you reach all this way, please like, share, subscribe. This helps me a lot. It motivates me to continue with sharing my knowledge or these exercises that I want to show you how to do it. And until next time, thank you. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to go deeper into the world of 3D modeling, I have another course where I explore more advanced plasticity tools. This course is focused on the basics of 3D modeling. We will start from scratch, and step by step we will understand how to manipulate shapes and forms, how to solve problems along the way, and discover the secrets of some plasticity powerful but hidden tools. And inside Blender, I will show you how I made the shaders, lighting, and the final image. By the end of this course, you will have a solid foundation in 3D modeling inside Plasticity. This will take your skills to the next level and open up a whole new world of possibilities for your 3D creations. I will leave the link in the description below, so check it out and let's get started.